All right, keeping you all on your toes, aren't we? You know, middle of the week last week, a Tuesday this week. We'll get back on track. I think the main thing for all of you is that we show up. And I am very thankful to Asa for making that happen because, you know, I've had a long run of being here on Mondays, not missing a show. And in my mind, I thought that I was getting better, when all I really was getting better at learning how to avoid long COVID symptoms. Those of you new to the show, it had to be in the last 3 years that you haven't heard me speak about that. I went to mow the yard. I'll admit it. It was something I thought I could do. The weather was cool. I have a yard the size of smaller than a putting green. Yeah. That's all it took. I hit a point of overheating and breathing hard, and after that, it was nothing but prayers. It usually takes 2-3 days for the symptoms if they're going to onset, and yeah, they did. Brain fog, the works. To the point where I got up on my normal Thursdays, then when I come in to see all of you, and by the way, you're watching Gem Collectors with Shawn. I am that Shawn. And I got showered. I got dressed. I did the comments. I went through everything hoping that this feeling I felt would pass. It didn't. And at the last moment, you know, and Osip knows if I can't put on a quality show, I'm just, you know, going to have to. And there was every possibility that, you know, he wouldn't be able to accommodate reshooting the show. Everything is timed around here. And in this case, he was. So it's a Monday for me here. You're just going to see the show a day after we film it, and you get to see a show every week this way. So I've got another exciting show planned to shoot later this week, so you can see it Monday. We're going to get back on track. And what was going to be a shortened show today gets to be a full show. So that means I get to do all of your comments, which is the most we have in a while. And some are relevant. Some are, I know a lot of you really like that. And there's a lot of education that comes out in the comment section as well. You'll see that today also. I also have some really exciting mineral specimens. But, you know, I don't want all of you to, like, fast forward and skip parts just to try to get the specimens before other people. Let's just do it in the order that I present the show, and that way it's kind of fair for everybody. I see also, anyway, that, like that Christmas tree chalcedony specimen, I either should have, like, tripled the price on it, which is much more of where it should have been, more like quadruple the price, because I have never seen another one. Mindat does not have anything like that chalcedony Christmas tree specimen. And I thought about Brad when I was inventorying it, and, you know, who collects, you know, fluorescent material. And also now you're going to hear from Matthew. Yeah, he's the one that scooped up a bunch of those other items the other week. Because under fluorescence, under long wave light, the Christmas tree lights up like a Christmas tree. It has on the ends, depending on where the fluorescent light is hitting it, incredible yellows and what a great piece with still bites in it sticking out. And you know, Miss Gabby even wanted it. She was going to put gemstones in it, which would have been absolutely grand. So we yeah. I wish, again, that there had been several. So it's nice to know, as, you know, time goes on, these specimens that you're getting to see, sometimes you may never see another one like it ever in your life. I've been collecting a long time, and I said that this would happen. Good things would come out from my collection as time moves forward, and we haven't run out of items yet. And this doesn't even, you're not getting to see the items that are truly not for sale, that are part of our collection, and items that we've agreed to not sell. They're pretty cool. They're pretty cool. I think we all have those pieces that were just not going to sell. And the one that really, really I want it isn't so much because of the value, it's because how she got it. How the raven swooped down out of the sky and scooped up the sixth member of the garnet family. That is the hardest and rarest to get unless you just only want to get druzy. And I'm talking about true uvarovite from Finland. An octahedral crystal sitting in matrix. The crystal is, probably about 7 millimeters across. We were both right there, and it was just this older gentleman. He had actually received that for doing geologic work in Finland as kind of a gift. You know, I could give someone for their work. And there was no negotiation on his prices. Of course, I don't know anything but negotiation. That's just, But here was someone that wasn't from the land of negotiation. He was a USA contractor at the time. And, the price was the price. So here, I'm getting ready to haggle over $80. This is where I failed myself. I think I remember Miss Barbara telling me a story about that. And what does the raven do? She goes, okay, and literally whips out $80 cash and buys it right from under me. It's my birthstone. I didn't have one. She knew. How did she even know? Well, of course she did. She knew. She goes, well, I didn't know how much it was really, valuable to you or anything. That's the one that got away from me. If everyone might have one of the stories. There's that, and I'm going to tell you one more, and it had to do also with me wanting to haggle. A dealer selling incredible, and actually some of you have gotten some of it, incredible malachite. Some of that beautiful crystallized material that you've seen, and some other. Well, there was a malachite specimen, and what it looked like was a waterfall of chrysocolla flowing through and between stalactite, if that's a word, and stalagmite type of malachite that was like looked like water flowing, and there was a perfect color of water, chrysocolla, flowing, what looked like it was flowing right down in the middle of it. And I saw it, I wanted it, he gave the price, and I offered, it wasn't that much lower, but I offered a little bit lower. I think he read me, and my poker face, I think I lost my poker face on it, because I really wanted it, even at the price he said. But my negotiation side of me said, no, he can come off, it's like $25 off, and then the cost of it was like $300 or $400. The real value to it, this piece was amazing. And I wanted it. So I made a circle, I came back around, and I was going to give him his price, and he said he sold it. He said he sold it for, he asked why. He didn't sell it. He put it under the counter. He put it under the counter to bring out later and put a much higher price on it. I think he realized what he had from kind of, I think I gave my knowledge away to him. So anyway, those are a couple of stories of the amazing specimens that got away. I should have, when he first named the price, say, okay, I'll take it, pay the money, and that should have been that. No. He was actually Congolese from the Democratic Republic of the Congo. How am I going to negotiate with a negotiator? I mean, I am sure this man has played that back and forth game far beyond my many years of doing it with many other different ethnicities that grow up, and that's part of their way of life. And in the United States, you have to learn to be that way. It's like Raven. She is like so, going into like even a flea market, so hesitant to ask for a lower price. Yet for me, I'm willing to walk, and because it works. It works. But up against someone that, he read me, and I'm glad I didn't have a whole lot of money and cards on the table on that one, because I would have lost the poker face challenge, and that I'm mad enough already at having lost that piece. Anyway, there's the story. Let's get to some comments, and then let's get to the goods. All right, now we have this week a lot of winners. So I'm thinking, and you're just going to see this tomorrow. So anyway, happy October to everybody. And I know some of you up north in New York City got your share of rain. Some of you are seeing fall colors, while some of you, where you would think there'd be fall colors, like Minnesota and Wisconsin, are having a heat wave. Way hotter than it is down here. It has actually been kind of pleasant. So, all right. We have Mr. Anthony in Massachusetts from a week before the week before. Congratulations on the 300 shows, Shawn and crew. 300 and counting, 4,000 specimens. Very impressive. And you mentioned how fortunate you are to have the crew and equipment that you have to do these shows. I am unbelievably blessed. You know, when I see these other podcasts, even these commercials on TV, you can tell the difference in the quality where the one commercial, where it goes, it might just be local, but sell kind of thing. Well, you can tell that it's just not shot in the same quality that we shoot here, and that's a podcast. You can watch this show, of course, on YouTube, and we have the highest quality of cameras and lighting and really first-class stuff. So it's kind of neat to be able to show the detail that we can on specimens. And I'm glad to see that all of you recognize that quality of detail. As Anthony goes on to say, he goes, the level of information and the depth that you go into for each item, which are great to excellent quality. Well, I think we are the fortunate ones. Just my opinion. So here's the 300 shows. The Italians have a toast. Setani. Or setani. It means 100 years, or may you live 100 years. The sentiment is the same. Indeed. Trivia. Pyromorphite doesn't tell much about its properties. It does tell you that a crystal can change from fire. And calcite is a carbonate belonging to the calcite group. And I gave all those of you that said carbonate a correct answer on that one the other week. And so you would have gotten both those correct, Mr. Anthony. We have, then he goes on to say, Penny, I am so sorry for your loss. Indeed. Cindy in Pennsylvania. Hello, Rock family. I was so happy to see the entire show appear Thursday evening-ish p.m. Great specimens once again. I wish I was richer. Good luck on your roof. We had a metal roof put on 5 years ago and love it. I wish I could have had a metal roof, but couldn't. And it was really, really steep, the angle of the roof we have. But happy to have the new roof. It was not an easy thing. 3 different contractors, and that was the second claim on the house. The Christmas Day pipe freeze, that ordeal was a 5-month ordeal, and I'm talking about 5 months without a washer and dryer, without the use of a kitchen, without the use of our primary living room. It was not a good experience. And I think I've been to like 5 or maybe this was 6 home, and it was the first one that poor Raven had really we put it in her name, first home she had ever had and qualified for. And so out of all those homes, even that, I had never actually had a claim on a home before. So as far as the experience goes, it was not a pleasant one. There was just too many people through our house. And if you know us, we're really kind of introverted, private people. And, so to have all those strangers in and out of the house and working on it, it was not something that we're used to. Anyway, they did come out and finish cleaning up as part of the deal because I knew that they would have something to haul away, all that stuff. Well, remember I talked about all those chickens and the pheasants and the quail that I raised? Well, I had pens and all these other things in the backyard. And even though I homemade a couple of the pens, some of them had deteriorated. I kept one good pen because I'm still considering quail. I like raising quail. They make a cool sound anyway. But part of the deal was for them to clean up all the stuff in my backyard and the old wooden stuff and the old pens, and they did it. They did it. Of course, I had the remaining amount of money held out on them, and that might have been some motivation. But that part worked out all right. So Cindy says that she saw an unusual sight in the night sky on Monday. I thought, what in the world am I seeing? As a long string of Christmas lights floated across the night sky. It was a Starlink satellite train. Didn't even know it was a thing till I looked it up. I think that Starlink, the whole thing is amazing how they go up and then they can release like 40 satellites at a time. But that day, a couple of years ago, that there was a solar flare on the day that SpaceX happened to be releasing them. And a solar flare knocked out communications, causing like half of them to literally drop and burn up in the atmosphere. That's a bad day. That's a bad day. But that whole thing is interesting. How the technology, and these little small satellites. Trivia, getting all of them correct, which the question was, name 7 of the 8 different countries of origin of the different mineral specimens that were shown in the show. So there was 8. I was just asking for 7 of them. The second question was, the Wessel's mine is located in an area known as what? The answer being the Kalahari manganese field. So, that's just one of the mines. We are familiar with it because of Sugar Light, but the Kalahari manganese field is a large area that has a heavy manganese concentration, which also contains something else that I think Miss Barbara mentions here. We'll read in a moment. Everyone enjoy a stress-free week and see you next week. Cindy in South Central Pennsylvania. Miss Barbara in Brooklyn. Hi, Professor Ravens, GSN crew, and the whole Rock family. Sorry to be such an email nudge last week, but at least we eventually got to see your merchandise. Yes, I didn't read you the Barbara emails to me that said, okay, it's now Monday afternoon and no show. Okay, it's now Monday evening and no show or no But that's all right. That Graves Mountain Lazulite cabochon was an interesting piece. Hope Brad sees your UV Christmas trees. I did too. It's late, so I'll just do the trivia. There are various states in the USA, then India, Pakistan, Mexico, Madagascar, Brazil, South Africa, and Australia. Correct on all of them. The Wessel's mine in the Kalahari manganese fields of South Africa, the same area that produces the famous pointy red rhodochrosite gemi crystals at Enschwaning. It's an N apostrophe, then something like Schwaning. I should have probably looked up how it's pronounced. But if you ever want the second finest rhodochrosites, I think, ever in the world, they could be right up there with number 1, but I like the color of the Sweet Home Mine ones. Plus, they're made in the USA, so maybe I'm a little prejudiced there. But truly, the South African ones, the rhodochrosites. Now, remember, rhodochrosite is a manganese mineral. Rhodochrosite is a manganese carbonate, so that would make sense for it to be there. The clarity and the crystals are a pointed, completely different shape than the Sweet Home ones. the color is an ultra intense, but it has a little tinge of orange to it, and making it to me look a little bit like some of the rhodonites that are from the Padre Pariso mine in Brazil, which of course is a manganese mineral also, rhodonite being a manganese silicate. Preferably the Sweet Home mine with that just incredible reddish pink, pinkish red, clear of any orange. I really like that color. I also like the way that the Sweet Home, because I cut and I offered it here on the show, a 12 karat finished weight custom cut rhodochrosite that I did with my own of my own design, and it sold. It was amazing stone. And what it really had, I oriented it to where the dichroic or trichroic nature of it really came out. So if you looked at it from different angles, not only did it look a different color, but under different lighting also made it completely, well, I guess you could call it color shift, indeed, if not in a little bit more of a color change. It was that strong. So really a stunning stone, and for its size, very clean, especially for rhodochrosite. So anyway, want to wish you all a blessed time. Take care. Until then, keep your eyes to the ground. And Miss Barbara goes on to say the Wessel's mine is in the Kalahari manganese field, and mentions of the rhodochrosite. Tomorrow is the last day before Ophelia douses us for the entire weekend, and best wishes for those in the midst of the various Jewish holidays. Be well all. Barbara from Brooklyn. Yep, we saw. Watch the news down here. Boy, you guys got drenched in New York. Couldn't believe it. Mr. James, formerly Jimbo, still is Jimbo. Jimbo from Delaware. Formerly Jimbo from Arizona, if you remember. Hello, Shawn. Glad you were able to get the show technically difficulty corrected and provided another informative show. I'm waiting out the storm today, hoping to keep the lights on. I'll answer the trivia as getting them all right. The Kalahari manganese fields, well done there. Want to wish you all a blessed time. Take care. Until then, keep your eyes to the ground. Mr. Jimbo. Name, Mr. Brad in Pennsylvania. Greetings, Shawn, Raven, Asif, Dave, Gem shopping staff, and the whole Rock family. I think you got it all there, Mr. Brad. Trivia contest guesses. Come on. You know there's no such thing as a guess. No, they're just all educated answers. Just depending on your level of education, but they're still educated, right? Countries, Mexican. Oh, he's going to be smarty. He's going to even name the product that I showed. Mexican fire opal, USA, chunky gal, North Carolina, India, Maharashtra for the zeolites, Australia, yellow sapphire, Madagascar, the iolite, Pakistan, the triplite, Brazil, the emerald, Bahia emerald. Well done. I don't remember where the Wessel's mine is. My mind wandered off at that point to the Star Trek movie where Chekhov went out on the town asking the locals where to look for the nuclear vessels. Where are the nuclear vessels? Wow. Wow, Mr. Brad, as a big Star Trekkie fan and having seen everyone and still watch them now, one, of course, favorite being the truffles. Is that what they call them? The things that eat all the grain and fluffy little things. But I remember the one, and Chekhov's accent there, that's great. Looking for the nuclear vessels. Of course, he said vessels, meaning vessels. Sound the same, right? Especially when Chekhov says the vessels. So that's very, very cute, very cute. So, if you would have paid more attention to what's important instead of, Chekhov, you would have known that the vessels, especially with my tooth, I can sound that way really easily, is in South Africa. You should know that anyway. the sugar light. You know, the vessel's mine. I think being smart. You knew the answer. Oh, well. Oh, bother. I have to say that I have been eyes down this summer because we are awash in spotted lantern flies. Our company informed us that we should step on them if possible without hurting ourselves. Good luck with that. Listen to this, okay? Because they are an invasive species that damage many kinds of plants. They are fast, and they like to land on a person occasionally. They congregate on the tires of our cars and on the sides of our buildings. We tend to throw in some dance steps on our lunchtime walks to get them as they land. Kind of like still playing, you know, don't step on the crack or you'll break your mother's back. And, you know, going down the sidewalk as you, you know, hip-hop around over the cracks. I remember still doing that. I don't know. I think I was 20s. Okay. Christmas came early this year, and I'm regretting that I missed it, I think you meant. What a nice specimen was the Christmas chalcedony. I know, Mr. Brad. I thought of that for you. I even brought it in and inventoried it, sending the lives. Now, the lucky person has not come forward yet because it doesn't sound like you got it. Oh, well, I can remember as a kid that I didn't want to get sick on Christmas or on my birthday. Uh-oh. Everybody better listen to this confession. As a kid, I didn't want to get sick on Christmas or on my birthday and miss opening some presents. Mom told me that one year when I was 3, I woke up early. At 3, you still know what's right and wrong. I woke up early, and since they were sleeping in, and after staying up late to wrap presents, I went down and opened all the gifts. Oh, my. You're one of those kids. Dad missed Christmas that year. Sorry about that, Dad. I know you are listening. Since I have been busy lately and can't always get through the YouTube videos, I thought I would try to catch up a bit. So, Shawn, here's a trivia question for you. What purchase from you have I made during the month of September? Make an educated response because we all know there isn't such a thing as a bad guess. I'll let you know if you are correct. You can refer to your notes if you want. Stay cool. I hope the roofing goes well and keep smiling. Mr. Brad, I could try to think, but I think some, you know, if you said, since you said I can use my notes, you guys get time, and I have notes. So by the next show, this is a Monday, I'll be back on Thursday recording it for the following Monday. I am going to see if I have the right answer for you. I could sit here and use up time, not showing you guys minerals, and going back and forth like this, and still wouldn't get it right. I could blame it on my brain fog. But give me time like you guys get, and we'll see what I can come up with. All right, we have Miss Jan says, hi, Shawn. And she happens to have some geodes. Miss Jan, I would love to have some more geodes, but I would probably be going against what I'm trying to do, and that's even my little Oko geodes. So, but I thank you anyway. There is one question I wanted to ask. Now, I don't know what they charge in shipping or how they charge by way of it, but those of you are familiar with the what I call the sugar quartz geodes out of Morocco. Those are the ones just with that beige exterior and nothing but that super fine, translucent white, really weird crystalline form of crystals in it. I don't know. I've got one around here somewhere. I can show you if you don't remember it. But my question to you is this. I happened, and this goes way back to when I got that sea freight shipment. Literally. I think there was like 10 of us went in on an entire container. You know, one of those big containers And then it was divided up in these, and I still have them. I gave away. A bunch of people love it. I ended up with 10 or 12 of these aluminum, and they had a little lock on it and my little name on them, trunks that everything was packed immaculately. The dealers there and wrapped so well. So all these different specimens and zeolites. Oh, it was Christmas. Well, guess what? There is still some items I have not even opened, and you know what they are? And here's my question to you. Is anyone interested in, and literally this is about the size of my hand, if you can see it relative to me, how big that is, sugar quartz geodes. And they must weigh 25, 30 pounds. I'm not exactly sure. But they're not sawn in half, just beautiful splits. They go together amazingly. And I got to see how many I have left. I was just interested to see if anybody was interested in maybe me bringing one in, if you might want one of those. We actually gave one, and you might have heard of over many years that she's worked here, Nikki and Johan. They got a house, and so what do you do with a big quartz geode like that? And two people that love and been here at Gem Shopping for decades, long time, you get them a big quartz geode for a housewarming present, and that's what we did, and they absolutely loved it. How amazing, you walk in because it's large enough, and it's like, oh wow, that's cool. So anyway, that was what I did with one of them. But if anybody else is interested, I'd consider bringing them in. I just don't want to tote them around for nothing, though. That's the thing. All right, Mr. Matthew in Texas. Okay, everybody, here is the secret buyer that has been behind the scenes. I've only known it because he's just a number, and I could see through the sales, the same number went down the list of all these amazing items that he got. So I drew him out in my comments. Listen to wonderful Matthew from Texas. Welcome to our club, and thanks for coming out of the background. And speaking to us. I am Matt, the mystery customer you mentioned this past week. I purchased a number of your awesome, beautiful items, and am thoroughly thrilled. Thank you. I am a long-time customer, but until recently did not know you were still presenting your collection. It's a massive collection, and it literally has taken the 6 years, and we're just now getting some of the really cool stuff. I am not active in social media or websites. I thoroughly enjoy and appreciate your instruction and presentations. I never was either. This is my first dipping my toe in this. I was in a live show here for 9 years. I had my own show, and so moved down here, and now we're celebrating 6 years and over 300 shows. Quite the record. I particularly enjoy fluorescent, phosphorescent, rare crystals, and rare faceted gems. Yeah, he got the bastardite. Smart man to get that. As a retired educator, the budget does not really match the latest prices on your parent network, especially with most set in jewelry. So your show is a blessing. Yeah, it is neat because, we have museum quality jewelry, and I do not use that word lightly. But even some of the pieces, that I'm used to seeing, I'll look and I'll scan some of the other shows, going on upstairs in the dual studio, high-tech studio, and I am just blown away. I'm looking at something that could be in, the Smithsonian by way of these pieces. Truly, the quality of some of the gemstones are stunning. And, yeah, the prices reflect what you're getting. Nowhere else is there. And where else could you go to be able to shop like that? With the return policy, it makes it possible to buy 5- and 6-figure jewelry and get the quality way beyond that you would get anywhere else at a price way less than anywhere else. And I'm just not saying that because you know me. I shoot it straight. So it's fun to watch those shows, to see the pieces. But if you only have $19 to spend, well, guess what? I have $19 items, and you might even get some see some of those today. So thanks for enjoying the show and rediscovering me once again. And as a educator, those are my best because I gave a lot of my things away to permanent, what we call the permanent study collections. That's for schools here, not only in my county here, but I donated an entire collection to the Boys Club many years ago when I was like 17 and found girls and regretted that. So it was a huge geo collection of specialized in the Mexican coconut geodes. It's an amazing collection, but it's gone to a good source, a good place. Even though I wish I had them all back. But but that happens when you discover girls. So, all right. So, Mr. Matthew goes on to say, I have questions about fluorescent displays. I have some eye conditions that do not want to make worse. Are there glass options available that could be used on commercial or scratch-made displays that would protect eyes? A few years ago, I went into a large display room, a gem show of hundreds of samples. The many colors were amazing. Perhaps a small display could be made to display a few at a time, but a larger presentation for my enjoyment at home would be fun. I do have two amazing faceted bonito-white gem treasures. Fantastic. Here's what I do. And I've talked about this before. I go to these flea markets, I guess. Here they have them in old chicken houses, literally. And I'm sure Miss Gabby, who has a place up not far from me, she is probably well aware of these converted chicken houses, and they have everything. They're open on weekends kind of thing. Well, I go looking at places like that, not these, fancy stores that sell used furniture. No, I go to the chicken houses, that type of environment, and they will have furniture. And that's what I want. I want the furniture that's dinged up. I want the furniture that doesn't have all the glass in it. I want the furniture that looks nice, but all you need is something to start with. I don't spend over $50. For example, I got an amazing corner cabinet. It's my main cabinet I use. It was a corner cabinet. I think it was like, they were asking like $75. I got it down to less than $50. Again, negotiate. And it was missing some of the glass shelves. Well, I have just a glass cutter that cuts glass accordingly to what I need, and it is so expensive. People don't realize. So I had mirror glass put in the back, and I had the glass shelving made, and even the replacement of the glass doors. It was all inexpensive. So probably I had less than $100 in the glass and the wood corner piece. All right, buying it like that allows you to not feel bad when you go to drilling holes in it, because then that's what I did. I drilled holes in the top and for venting, because then I put four different wavelengths of light in there. I had halogen lights in the top. Then in the back corners, that you couldn't see, I ran that strip lighting, really inexpensive that you can get. So you have the strip lighting angle, lighting coming in from the sides. You have the halogen from the top. Then in the back corner, in the back sides of it, I put a strip along the top flat edge, and then along the bottom sides, fluorescent. Just regular fluorescent lighting, and you can pretty much get any length you need that you're working with at just your local home goods store is where I got everything. So all the cords I was able to hide, and because I didn't mind drilling into it, I could run the cords out of the side. I put them into just a central panel that allowed me to, and it was basically just a light strip. Was one of them, and the other lights came with switches. So I just put them all together to where I could switch on and off the different wavelengths of light. I even added in then a long wave black light, and I could put my fluorescent items towards the top where they could be closer to the light, because you're going to get a better reaction the closer you are to, or you have to up the wattage. So being able to drill holes in it and not feel bad, that's the quality and the kind of inexpensive cabinet. I built another one. There was just a rectangular shaped one with the clawfoot legs on it. Wasn't expensive at all. Did the same thing, except it had a wood back panel. I left that way. I put in the shelves. I put the lighting in. Was able to hide all the lighting. Again, a lighting control panel. I was kind of proud of those. I thought, I could make these and I could take them to, if I made it up and take them to a gem and mineral show, and I wouldn't be able to take enough of them because they would sell out so quickly. No one's doing anything like that. But the thing about it is you can do it yourself. And so, to answer your question, Matthew, I am sure there are certain films that you could put over glass if you're trying to do a filter. If you're trying to filter out a particular wavelength of light. But, like fluorescent lighting, you can do fluorescent lighting on everything. You just can't look at the fluorescent bulb itself. So the light can come down, whether it's shortwave or longwave, on the specimens, but you can't look into the source of where that light comes from. So I'm not sure, what you're trying to shield yourself from, but I know with my cabinet, I was able to, just the way the wood trim was, be able to put all the lighting in there that I wanted, and where none of it would shine directly into the viewer's eye. And then dimmer switches on the really strong lighting, like the halogen. And then remember, halogen can put off a lot of heat. So you got to remember what specimens you want to keep towards the top or not. And you can rearrange them. But drilling holes made all the difference in the world for releasing that heat. So there's my tips to helping you out there. And I tell you what, if I ever need to fall back on something, I would love to make those cabinets just because I would love to make them. But the thing about it is I'd get attached to every one and then fill them up with specimens and then wouldn't want to sell them or the specimens in them because they would look so good. So anyway, there you go for it. I love phosphorescent material also. That is really cool. The first time I flipped off a switch and an item, a specimen still glowed, that triboluminescence was like, wow, that's cool. I hope to see some of your rare, larger fluorescent offerings in as many colors as possible, in hydros, geos with lots of caves, etc. Sorry, sounds like a wish list for Santa. Oh, definitely does. All the best to you and Raven. Mr. Matthew in Texas. Welcome, welcome. Good to hear from you. Miss Cindy says, trivia prize error in the mail. Oh, yep, it got sent out. Wrong item to the wrong person. But Miss Alisa can't wait to get it. I sent it to Miss Cindy instead. So it's funny because let me get to that part. Okay, so Cindy says, hello, Rock Family. Thoroughly enjoyed the show this week. Looking forward to it being Monday again, so we have another to watch. Hoping all is well with all of you till next week. All right, and Miss Gabby says, greeting once again, gang. Shawn, the diamond mine in Arkansas has been on my bucket list for years. On the way to Denver, the first stop was Arkansas. I looked, and we were just an hour and a half away. Was tempted for a minute, LOL, but continued on to the mineral show. Wow, that would have been tough. Missed out on the Christmas tree chalcedony. Was going to try to place loose faceted gems on it for added effect, but I did get the scales. Going to be cool and fun addition to the cabinet. You know what? That's exactly where I put my scales. I put the scales in the cabinet on top, I told you, of that chunky Irubian zoisite piece. And then when I had those 2-gram gold nuggets, I put them on one side and made a fantastic display. I ended up selling the gold nuggets to all of you, so they easily, one by one, took them out of the scales. But remember, those scales are, depending on which side of them you're on, either buyer scales or seller scales. because the weights are a little shifty, as I mentioned, but can be corrected if you wanted to, and correct them exactly, or just inscribe on them what the actual weight is. And but they can be used, because when you actually set scales up, boy, they are perfectly balanced against each other. The weight one side against the other. It's like, wow, I didn't think that would happen. So as long as that's the case, the weights don't really matter, because you can write the exact weight of each item on them or inscribe it. So anyway, they look really cool, and with that set, and as cheap as I made it, I'm glad you got it. I hate that so many people wanted that Christmas chalcedony piece and missed out on it. Went back to listen to last week's trivia questions and don't have to worry about withdrawing this week. The only thing I remember about the Sugilite mine location that I saw in the graphics, it's in a famous desert, and Mojave is all that comes to mind this minute. You're cracking me up. And I know your specimen was South Africa and not the USA. LOL is right. You are cracking me up. A desert is all you can remember. Mojave comes to mind, and South Africa. Yes, the two don't go together. Now, you could have at least said the Sahara and gotten the right continent right with South Africa. One would be on one end of the continent and the other on the other, but at least you'd have them in the same continent. But Mojave, and that doesn't quite go. Some of the countries I remember are Africa, India, Madagascar, Pakistan, USA, Australia, and Brazil. The Usual Suspects. I love that movie. The Usual Suspects. What a great movie that is. And you're right. You just about, the ones you just named, you could almost just pull them out of your head and be right no matter what, because those are the big standard countries that goodies come from. But regarding the Sugilite mine, no, it is the Vessels mine, and the part relative to it was called the Kalahari manganese field. There is a Kalahari desert as well, so at least you got the desert part right, and just the wrong continent. Sorry, Miss Gabby, having a little fun with you, because you know me, always so smart and get everything so right all the time. Here's the cooler weather, everybody, everywhere. Cheers, Miss Gabby. Cheers back at you, Miss Gabby. And I cannot believe, of all people, that you have not been to Arkansas yet, to the diamond mine. I tell you what, I don't know. Wouldn't it be neat to go? To just say, let's go. And go together. And everybody just has to turn over their diamonds that they find to me. And there we go. So, no. I've already been doing some serious study on that spot, and I'm going to find some diamonds when I go. Yeah, that's going to be pearl. Miss Elisa, hello, Professor Shawn, the lovely Raven GSN crew, and the Rock family. Miss Penny, the rocks from Greece are amazing. Thank you for sharing them for all of us to see. Thank you so much for the beautiful coral necklace. I am so excited to see it in person. That's after Miss Cindy gets done playing with it. I've always wanted a coral necklace, but never told anyone that. See, the magic of this show? The thing about those trivia gifts, they always end up going and belonging right to where they're meant to be. And obviously, Miss Cindy, you weren't intended to have a coral necklace. But Miss Elisa, who have always wanted one but never told anyone that, wow. So, you see, I mean, that's so cool. Love to hear that. So when you said my name and showed the prize, I started to cry. Oh, bless your heart. That just makes me want to cry. That is powerful stuff. Thank you. And thank Miss Cindy for being honest and returning the item that doesn't belong to her. I'm opting out this week, but my answers: Italy, Mexico, Brazil, Pakistan, USA, Madagascar, Australia, and India, and the manganese field. Close enough. My favorite item was the Blue Forest, Wyoming petrified wood. That was a stunning piece. I hope everyone, and the nicest one I had. or probably had at this point. I hope everyone has a great week, and I'm glad you were able to get both shows fully uploaded. Take care, everyone. Miss Elisa, yes, and it was really my fault. I should have checked sooner, but that's all past history. I'm glad that the whole show came up. Miss Penny in Quebec. Hello, Shawn, the lovely Raven, amazing GSN crew, and fellow rock hounds. I hope everyone is well. Trivia. Getting them all right. Let's see. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. And the Wessels mine, magnesium fields of South Africa. Oh, Miss Penny, so close. Magnesium. You know, if this was Jeopardy, you would be wrong. But this is Gem Collector Show, and I know that you really meant to say manganese fields, and that, therefore, you get it marked correctly. Yep. Thank you for another great show. Favorite over the last couple of weeks was that Brazilian citrine and kyanite specimen. You know, I am really glad someone noticed how wonderful that piece was and how rare and unusual. That was actually Kim's favorite piece and one we had set aside. And only if it's not bought does she find out, because she gets the items back from Memo. So unless you want me to get in a whole lot of trouble, someone better have bought that. Love those blades of kyanite, and the citrine certainly make it otherworldly. Miss Penny, you're absolutely correct. That's an amazing, amazing piece that was really underpriced and underrated, especially with the quality of the kyanite in it. I'm extremely happy that you received the rocks and liked them. Could I have them back, please? That's exactly what it sounded like Miss Elisa said. Miss Penny, those rocks from Greece are amazing. Thanks for sharing them for all of us to see. And I get to keep. Could I have them back, please? I think I sent the wrong cherry-picked bag. Just kidding, in parentheses, she writes. Since I can pick out nice rocks, even though I didn't know what I was picking, I look for more next time I go somewhere. I think it might be time for me to invest in a tumbler. Those rocks, Miss Penny, would tumble so well in a tumbler. They're all close enough to the same hardness. They're already preformed tumbled. So the worst part, as far as wear, is already taken off of them. The finished product you would get, because they are quartz-based, would be remarkable. A beautiful, stunning polish. And you would have picked them up yourself. They were, those pieces, what was it? Like close to 50%, 40% being a cryptocrystalline quartz, in other words, a jasper and agate. And the wow. Yeah. You had good taste. And you did good there. Thank you. Mahalis and I finally visited very briefly the small local mineral club that I had joined. I was expecting them to be selling rocks and minerals, but they don't. They have some specimens and a fluorescent section on display, and I will investigate more when I return. They have machines for cutting and polishing rocks and a few workstations to make silver jewelry. They also have a station for faceting. I'm so excited to try the machines for the first time, which I will do as soon as I have a couple of hours to spend there. We wish everyone a wonderful week and look forward to seeing you next week, Penny and Mahalis. Miss Penny and Mahalis, both of you, you need to go to that Rock and Mineral Club and use those machines. That's what they were there for. And the people that are part of that club, there's never been a club I have, and I've been invited to speak to many clubs, time-wise, I just haven't been able to. From the Cobb County Gem and Mineral Society to the Georgia Mineral Society and others. Everyone is always wonderful and always very willing to help, especially, and I'm just going to be a little prejudiced about that, younger kids like Mahalis and ladies. They really reach out. So I highly recommend that you take part. And wow, who knows what it could lead to, not only for you still, moving forward in the future, it can lead to making jewelry, cutting stones. And Mahali, his future, you never know. I didn't start till I was 11 years old. And when you get to make a living your entire life doing what you love as a hobby, wow, there's no better return than that. Like I've always said, I've never made it rich, even with the jewelry stores and all, but I'd be willing to work for even less to do what I love. But to make an okay living my entire life through doing my hobby and getting to prospect and extend out into it, wow. I can, if they buried me tomorrow, I can say that I lived out a life of fulfillment by way of career. I have been to 6 of the 7 continents prospecting. It's taken me all around the world, and through not only the mineral specimens themselves, but through actual travel also. Yeah, it's been good. But what I couldn't do was leave behind 4,000 and counting specimens for my one and only child or Raven or somebody to do something with. Once I kick the bucket, what would they do with all these rocks? Unless you have a wonderful outlet like I have to share them with someone else and to know where they're going to, that means a lot. And so with that said, let's get to the winner of the trivia, and then let's get to the specimens. We have the winner this week. We have now Jimbo in Delaware. I was almost going to say Arizona, but it is Jimbo in Delaware. And Jimbo, you have won a really cool prize, and it is the last of the ones I have anything like it. Let's show you what you have won. Look at this. Check this out. Okay, look at how big this is. This is the largest cat's eye selenite sphere. And you can see what I really love about this particular one is how in one direction, optically, look at how well defined you can see through that. And let me get something here. Yeah, even this. Look at that. You can even read right through that part. But when you turn it, and it's a little bright right now at the moment, but the other direction is a cat's eye. And this is the large cat's eye selenite spheres that are made from those selenite crystals I have. So before, this is from the same area as the well-known Nika mine of Chihuahua. Look at that. All right, and then what's neat about this one is most of the time the sphere is all the way around, but this has 2 naturals in it where you can see the original face of the crystal right there. So it displays really well, and here is the other side. So you can actually look at the natural banding to the crystal. It kind of makes for a real interesting display, as opposed to a sphere all the way around, because you get to see the natural crystal on it. So look at that, displaying a couple of different directions. The last of the big ones I have, congratulations to you, free. All right, let me tuck that away, and we'll be back to start the show in just a moment. Let's go back in time. 1992, Kanchanaburi. I walked across the bridge over the River Quad. A great movie if you've never seen it. Luckily, I'm talking to everybody from my age group that would be familiar with at least hearing about that movie. In the movie, it's amazing how the bridge looks. So in my mind, when I got there, I was a little disappointed. But to walk across that bridge, they had to rebuild it because it was blown up during World War II. And then the second bridge, it did have only a couple of strafe marks in it, but it was still neat to see those. So when I went back in time, I walked across the bridge. They still use as a railroad bridge. But when I looked down into the river, it wasn't as far down as the movie makes it. But here's where I felt like I was there. There was a mahout washing his elephant, literally, in the river right there. There were women doing their laundry. It was a step back in time. Yet, on the other side of the river was, I had set up we stayed in what they call an expat hotel. So, an expatriate. So, this was a British guy and his Thai wife. They had this little hotel. My room was, this is in 1992, was $6 a night, and I got a bed. My business partner's room was $4 a night, and he got a mattress on the floor. The bathroom was down the hall, and the shower was, I wouldn't call it much of a shower. So, yet the modern conveniences of, everything was still right there. Cars, bicycles, motorcycles, and yet standing on the bridge, looking over the river, looking down at the elephants, it was like two different stages of time. I don't know, kind of surreal. I ended up going to a Buddhist monastery, and I sat in that monastery for way longer than I thought I was going to because there was a sense of peace that came over me, and the sound of chimes blowing through the wind and the monks walking around. It was just really another one of those experiences that you had to be there and experience it to feel it. Quite something. Loved Thailand. Went all the way to Three Pagodas Pass. Had to give up my passport to get into Burma. That was a scary thing. Could only walk to the nearest town, but we were in Burma. That was exciting. Anyway, along the way, in Kanchanaburi, of course, is the largest, huge sapphire mine and black spinel, where they mine black spinel to where they can carve these 2-foot-long intricate designs out of it, kind of like they do with jade, except in black spinel. So black spinel is an amazing material to use behind a doublet because of its hardness and its true, very black natural color. A lot of black onyxes dyed to be that solid black. This is an opaque black. So I just picked up some cabs, and I got them actually to demonstrate orange peel to other cutters and to anybody I taught. And I was just showing it to Latif, who actually only cut a few calves, but has fastened it quite a bit a number of years ago. So I was showing him. I said, this is what we call an orange peel. So you can see the surface, and this is something that any normal cutter would not want. Would not want to cut a cab with that orange peel. It is a process done and created by not using the right series of grits and then polishing over the top of them. If anyone wants these, they're 2-match pair, and you can leave them like they are because they actually, what they do? They actually take pearls and they cut little facets almost in the surface of pearls, and this is what it makes it look like. It kind of gives it a faceted, reflected version. I don't know. Maybe this was intentional. But either way, 2 sets, black spinel, straight from 1992 when I got them on the other side of the bridge over the River Kwai. We worked with an Australian dealer. He knew the locals. We got to go to their cutting shop. That was a lot of fun. Anyway, these pieces you're getting to see almost all come with a story, especially the ones that go back to time periods like that. Like I said, I've been to many different places around the world, bought gems and minerals around the world, and can tell you all about them. I know when I bought this parcel, it wasn't much, but it was an intentional buy to talk about and show people orange peel. Isn't that something? All right. So, here is the set. And you can have both pair for only $28. $28. And that is like, I don't know, $2 a carat. Only sets of black spinel I have like that. Let's look at item 1137223. Now, I know that at one point, we'll see how good my memory is, Mr. Anthony, I think it was, had mentioned if I had any pearls, and yeah, I do. I just don't always find them when I need to find them, or they may not be exactly what you're looking for. So anyway, these are open to anybody that may want them. I had them to add to another necklace, and anyway, this is years ago. The customer went by the wayside. It is, item 1137223. I hope. Did I get that right?
Yes.
Okay. And so look at these. These were 3 matched pearls. And look at, you can tell the color match. Look at that. Boy, that is, and they are exactly straight on size, 6.5 millimeter, and they are drilled all the way through. So you can use these for dropped earrings, and what I was doing was these were going to be added to a gold necklace for each year until you have like a complete necklace, was the kind of the idea, and why they match. And they had to match some others. I'm trying to look for the drill hole, because did you see it? I didn't see it either. I just assumed they were drilled. That's a bad word to use. Okay, Shawn. I know. Well, I really don't know. So this is kind of important. Come on. That there is. I actually bought they make these little jigs for drilling pearls. And I think I bought one of those jigs. It's even better because a lot of times you may want to just half drill these. And if you do half drill, and this comes with a lesson, so you find the worst place in the pearl, which let's say is that little blemish right there. And that is where you would want to take like a diamond burr works best. If you have a tiny, tiny round diamond burr, because you want to make a starter hole, just a little starter hole. Then, if you actually have a sharp twist drill, regular metal drill, you use your beeswax, you can actually drill it with that twist drill, because once you're past the nacre, you're into just the mother of pearl bead, and it will drill. Now, only do that if you know how to sharpen your steel drill bits. Now, I don't think I actually did. We were going to do another series of how it's done kind of series on shorter subjects, and one of them was going to be how to sharpen your drill bit yourself, your metal drill bit. And if you don't know how to do that, practice doing it. Use a separating wheel. But anyway, you would need to probably sharpen your drill bit after doing that. You can use a diamond drill bit, which would work effectively. Just use water with that. But with your twist drill, you use beeswax, and it works fine with that. So, I think we're going to be able to have to take that drilled out of there, because I have 3 pearls here, and if I turn them this much and we do not see a single hole anywhere, if we could put undrilled there, Mr. Awesome, I do not see one. Do you? No. That's even better. They're actually more valuable when they are not drilled. I cannot believe I was able to get 3 pearls back then. And that's, I was going to drill them myself. And you know what? I remember getting the jig, because I remember saying, well, I guess I'm going to have to drill these myself, but it was an excuse to get the jig. So you need a pearl jig when you drill them, or else you will never drill them straight through. I don't care how good you think you're going to center that drill with the pearl. It will come out to where it will wobble. It will never be in the center straight through. No, done it. Been there. And made many a wobbly pearl on a necklace. So, 3. Even better yet, because then you can control them. And, of course, you don't need a jig to drill them halfway through. And that's the way most of them would be used. So you got 3 cool pearls here, and I'm not going to go up on the price, even though, especially, half drilled are okay. Completely drilled through, you're limited. But when they aren't drilled at all, then you have full control as to what you can do with them, and it adds value. But in this case, how would you like 3 nice cultured Akoya? Akoya meaning salt water, none of that freshwater stuff, and all 3 of them for what the price of one of them would be. I kid you not. So let's do this. Let's make all 3 of them only $27. Only $27 for all 3. And that's something I don't offer too often, so take advantage of them. I am going to show you guys something mind-blowing. Item 1137523. 1137523. This is the kind of stuff you have been wanting me to bring in, and maybe you didn't even know it. Maybe you didn't even know I had it. But either way, this is a jewel. Now, let me get this over here, and let me get it situated, and so that you're not bored too quickly, stare at that for just a moment, and voila! I make a Ceylon sapphire appear. Boom! Now, that's all you get to see of it, because I got to clean that off before Asa correctly asked me to. Look at this stone. Look, I have had this for a long, long time. Look at the native cut to it. Okay, so this is why I have had it and haven't sold it. Okay, you see how that, of course, how can you not? That's the culet. Look, Latif's laughing. We're all laughing, actually. That is what you call the native. I know, that is off, isn't it? You know, and that's why I had been intending to correct that and straighten that culet up. But let me show you what it looks like from above. This is why they do it. They cut it for weight. What is it, 286? They were probably trying to get a 3 carat out of it because they are sold by weight. Let me show you. Look at that. Can you really tell that it's not centered? No. Nope. And that's why they don't worry about it, because they're selling by weight, and most people are looking at it either mounted already like that or looking at it from above, and that's what matters. And looking at it from above, look at the rich color in that. Look at that. That's what you see. That's what you see. That looks like a truly royal gem. And it is. This is old. I know that this goes back and was mined in the 70s. Now, Sri Lanka or Ceylon, most all their mining is done alluvially. So everything is gravel mining. All the original deposits, for the most part, vein deposits, have been washed out into the valleys, and over time are alluvial and rounded. And you see those crystals, those doubly terminated crystals. Those are what you often find. I've sold many of those in this show, and they often have a little bit tumbled look. If you look at this closely, straight down on it, you can see that there is the culet a little bit to the right. Let's look at that a little bit. Well, maybe a lot of it. And I intended to shift that over and brighten the stone up. Look at the depth. So there's plenty of height to work with on this. Look at that rich color. It doesn't, I even thought of turning it this way, sideways, and cutting it and making that the top and the bottom and making a trillion out of it. Look at that. Look at the very bottom of that. See that triangle shape? Look at the depth you would have to work with. There is every possibility with that gem. You're buying a piece of rough if you want. Or you just leave it like it is. If you're a cutter, clean up some of the facets. This is from my own collection. Here's the other neat thing. Not often does it happen, but it does. Some sapphires can fluoresce. And this one, I have it to where it fluoresces a pinkish purple kind of color. It's a really unusual kind of color. I wish I would have cleaned this up a little bit better. But this is old material. And you can talk to any of the miners and the cutters. The older the material, the better quality it is. And we're talking about anything coming out of Burma, coming out of Thailand, coming out of Ceylon, coming out of Madagascar. The original, some of the old finds compared to the new finds. Of course, that would only make sense. The newer material being found is never as good as the original material. Go try to find a cashmere sapphire now. You're not going to find one. They're mined out, knowing what's in the market. Same thing with this material. There's just not new material. The other thing, okay, so Tanzania made a rule a number of years ago that the material had to be cut in the country. And it made sense. So it employed the locals, the labor of the locals. Well, here's what ended up really happening. And I was part of some of the early Tanzanite buying. And oh my, if I told you what I paid for material early on, you'd die. So what they were doing, they didn't know any better. They would cut the Tanzanites in these horrible native cuts. But the price allowed you to be able to buy them like that and then recut them to whatever you wanted in these, really nice, high-quality cuts. Yeah, you lost the weight, but over the average, when you averaged it back and the price per carat, you wound up with it, and it was still so inexpensive that it was worth doing. And that's how, for a period of time, until they got cutters taught correctly on how to do it, that's what they were doing. They were quickly doing native cuts on it so that it would just pass well enough to be able to be sold and exported out of the country. And you got these horrible cuts. Oh, my goodness. It was kind of funny. But it was cheap. It was cheap. Anyway, I could talk about that, the history of mining, even just the history of this one stone and why I have had it all this time. Oh, there's also one little inclusion in it that's a great lesson, because if I could show you and magnify it, it would be a lesson on identifying heat-treated material. So I believe this to be heat-treated. I'm not 100% certain, but it does look like there is an inclusion that when you heat them, the inclusion basically melts into the corundum, melts into the surrounding material due to the difference in temperature, and you can get what looks like a little exploded area. I don't want to use that word, but it looks like I don't want to really use lily pad because that's what you look for in amber. It is a circular type of area with a lot of little dots in it. Not a fingerprint, because that's another identifying character of another way. I tell you what, when you look at it, that's what it looks like when they've been heat treated. It's a great example of it. At least that's what I think. If it's not been heat treated, I want this baby back because it would be worth a small fortune. Being native cut makes me kind of wonder if they have done much to it. Either way, the color is magnificent. You can see in every direction. Look at the richness to that. Because of the trichroic and dichroic nature of sapphire, it does have different colors in the different directions you look at it. And you can see in that color, if I oriented it that way for that to be the top and got into that kind of color, that would be even more valuable. But it's a beautiful stone, just as it is. Has a little bit of natural abrasions over time on it. But again, I'm offering it as a something for somebody to recut and at a price discounted to really save somebody a lot of money on this jewel. So I tell you what, let me see here what I have on this beautiful 86, almost 3 carat gem. How about this? I'm going to offer that one for a deal without using a calculator kind of deal, because doing it in my head kind of deal. And yeah, why not? Why not? How about this? $288. Only $288 on a stone that you could easily envision that at a bargain at $300 to $400 a carat, even just as it is. So that is inexpensive enough that even if you wanted to recut it, you could lose the weight, pay for the recutting, cost of recutting, and still end up with a stone way below what the market value on something like that would be. That's a real gem, and to part with it for only that much money after keeping it for that long, yeah, that one I know when it was mined. I know the history going back to it that far. So, and again, the difference between like a Thailand stone and a Ceylon stone is, that you can see right there. Color says it all. Now, this next gem is something that the finest sapphires in the world, and the most valuable price per carat, have a little something to do with this. 113, 7323. And we're going to go to Nepal. Nepal, of course, up in the regions of near Kashmir. Of course, Kashmir is different areas and claimed by different people. But look at this. Look at this. Another incredibly beautiful blue stone. And wow, look at that color. And we were just talking about kyanite a little bit ago. It is gorgeous. Look at that color. I can tell you a terrible story. I knew this gem dealer. I walked into a place of business, and I looked down into the counter, and he had a tray, 3 rows of blue stones lined up around this size each. And I looked down from the height of the counter, and I said, wow, those are some beautiful kyanites. Where'd you get those? And with that, I saw the owner's face drop and sink. And he became sick to his stomach. This is a true story, because not only had he once bought them as sapphire, but he asked the dealer to come back with more that the dealer said he had, and he came back and he bought more of them. He actually, before he did that, took it to a well-known gem dealer. No names being disclosed here. It doesn't affect anybody, except in the gem community. And this gem dealer said that they were sapphires. And so on that, he bought the second batch. And he said, only you, Shawn, could look and in an instant be able to tell me something that others couldn't, and ended up costing him over $10,000 in the difference of money. And I said to the person, I have taught you, I have showed you the difference in what you look for. Why didn't you just look for the straight striations? Remember, sapphire and corundum form in a hexagonal crystal system, and when you have a stone this large, somewhere, there is going to be what's called the chevron. The chevron, just like the gas station, that shape V at that particular angle, the chevron that is known as the sergeant's rank on a military. Everyone knows what a chevron is. It is the angle of a six-sided hexagon. Those exact angles, and corundum will have them. You don't have straight lines running that far in a piece of corundum without there being that chevron effect somewhere. That is just one of the many ways. Remember, kyanite has two different hardnesses. It has, it's a polymorph of andalusite and sillimanite. Many other things. There's a hardness difference. Whether it's the 5 or the 7, huge difference between that and the hardness of corundum. You would have only had to take a topaz, and if a topaz scratched it, and then you could take a sapphire and see, and take the topaz, this is classic hardness testing, and you could have done it. I did a hardness test on a stone just yesterday, and was able to discern it. So anyway, this person was sick to his stomach for a long time, and he goes, as soon as you said kyanite, I knew I had made a giant mistake. He goes, I knew it. As soon as you said it, it dawned on me. And that was that. But that was, the guy was long gone. He found someone that he was able to fool with these stones, and it's very possible. So, I'm telling you that instead of what would be a $4,800 stone, how about $48 for that? Only $48 for that. And like I said, with almost every stone I offer, there is a lesson that I have learned so that you don't have to. Yeah. Now, let me show you a stone, and I have something to go with it as well, and some information. I have got lots of other goodies to get to. First, let me show this though. Item number 113-7423. 113-7423. All right, so my birthstone. This is one you don't normally see. Grossular garnet. This is a slice of grossular garnet. Now, grossular or grossularite is one of the families of garnet. And look at how thin of a slice this is. This would make a really neat piece if you want to hang as a mobile, and or just to put in a stand for display, because again, it's an unusual color and something you won't normally ever find like that. And now, since we're talking about garnets, let me do this quickly. I am going to show you a group of garnets, or let's say a group of stones. How long would it take you, and what stone is what? Now, this isn't, okay, so we're going to remove that garnet for the moment. Now, let me show you. All right, and excuse a little bit of dirt in the tray there. Okay, so, I knew that was going to bug you guys. Okay, we have 4 different stones. They all look very much like garnets. And you could do refractive indexes on them all. Look at that. That would look like a beautiful... sorry, you can just do away with the graphics. I never gave you the price on that. Sorry about that. That's my fault. Okay, yes. So the price on that, I was going to do one little showcase on that. So, yeah, here we go on this really cool, unusual piece of garnet. I am going to offer this guy, I don't know, someone better get it, because I had to saw that really thin like that, and let's make it only $38. Only $38. Okay, so here is what I was going to show you. All right, garnet. Now, we're going to take, this is the magnet to it, right? Okay, remember, the way to tell grossular garnet from an andradite garnet is andradite, due to the iron content, is going to be attracted. There is no attraction to grossular garnet. So important to know that. Now, these four garnets, we know that if they're almandine garnet, they're going to be an iron garnet, and they'll be attracted to a magnet. I've showed you that many times. If they are a spessartine garnet, which they could be like a red spessartine. Remember, spessartine garnet has a manganese content in it, and manganese, we won't get into the valence, but it's +2. But anyway, they're magnetic, all right? So you can, by using a magnet, be able to figure out, or at least take away things that they are not. All right, like if it's a pyrope garnet. Let's see what we have going down here through the stones. Here, look at that. That looks like an incredible grape garnet. And wouldn't that be amazing for that to be? So, boy, look at that. All right, so that is a straight pickup. So that's going to be in that incredible color that actually someone, I need to offer that or cut it myself. Look at that. That is true. Old stock grape garnet. It has a nick on the back right there, you can see, and why I have not sold it. So, because of its kind of slow pickup, that probably is a true rhodolite where there's 30% almandine and the rest pyrope. Let's take a look at this garnet. Boom, look at that. That picks up all the way very strongly. You can see the color is less purple, but pretty nonetheless if you recut it. So that is probably an almandine. We're down to 2 stones. We'd be having to take our time. Garnet has a wide range of refractive index. It could be very difficult to be able to separate refractive index from garnet to any other stone. Let's take a look. Boom. That one is attracted. Most likely a garnet. Tourmaline's not going to do that. What do we have left? I expect it to be a garnet. Is it? Look at that. Nothing. No attraction whatsoever. Yet it looked like the others. Look at that. That's a tourmaline, folks. That is a tourmaline with just a magnet. That quickly. We can go over those stones and figure out what is a garnet and what is a tourmaline. Boom. No attraction whatsoever. This is called an N52. It's the official strength magnet they use for doing magnetic testing on gemstones in the neodymium category. Now, in doing this, there's a point to this. I got out this big garnet crystal that I had been saving for a perfect example of a dodecahedron, right? Fully expecting it to be the common almandine garnet. So I put my magnet to it. Not a single draw. My heart fell. Because I knew it was a garnet. So then I put it up to the light. And I turned it. And then I saw what I was afraid I was going to find. And what I found was something I never expected and never had actually done with this stone. Look at that. Oh, by the way, when you get a chance, we usually turn that light off. Look at this color. Look at this red. And this is a red that is something that, there's an angle here I saw. Where is it? That I have not seen in a garnet in a long time. And look at that. Look, there it is. There it is. Look at that. What we're looking at is a red pyrope. A red pyrope garnet. The entire crystal. Full bone, pure pyrope, which is a magnesium garnet. And red pyrope like this is rare. And I sold all those other ones I sold. I now stand corrected and have to say to all of you, send it back. There it is. There's the angle I was looking for. I always wanted to show that without the other light, but I think everyone gets the idea and can see that red. Look at that. To have a red pyrope this size in a crystal, and for me to have sold, I think, at least a dozen of them. Oh, wow, you guys have really, whoever got those, you really made an amazing buy. Because, there we go. Look at the clarity even into these. I had no idea they weren't almost really totally opaque. I had not put them up to light. This is where another one of my boo-boos, where, assuming something, and it would have been as easy. Here I teach use of a magnet, and it would have been as easy as using a magnet, but because I thought I was smarter than I actually was, I didn't test it. And that's what I get for it. All right, so heartbreaking to say the least. All right, let me put away a couple things, and we'll be right back. Okay, so like I said, if you needed something that was inexpensive, this is the show to go to. I'm going to tell you right now, we'll start with the price. What you're looking at is a made in the USA collection of ore minerals. Everything you're looking at, $15. I only have the one set. You are looking at native copper. Check this out. Okay, Keweenaw Peninsula. This isn't the float copper that has been run over and smashed flat, making it nugget looking like from a 10 million ton glacier. There are some of those. It's called float copper. This is actually native vein copper. So this is copper that has come out of the veins. It would have quartz around it like you see here. There's even some greenish material, which is going to be some carbonate, copper carbonate. What do we have when we have a copper carbonate? Malachite. So you'll even find some little places of malachite. But look at these. These are gorgeous. I thought I had a little card. There is some information on the native copper. If I do, I'll include it with it. But these are two beautiful, beautiful, naturally crystalline material that is from the Keweenaw Peninsula, which is that jut of land that isn't actually attached to Michigan itself. It's Upper Michigan, they call it, and Great Lakes surrounding it. But these are, I'll tell you what the secret of this is. Back in the old day, they could not smell copper. They didn't know and hadn't figured it out. So This copper deposit is the only native copper deposit that was known in the world at the time. There is, if you ever thought that Christopher Columbus discovered America first, no. There was a number of different, let's just say everything from Knights Templar to Vikings to the Norwegian and that Icelandic people. They knew of this copper deposit somehow, and they would sail up the St. Lawrence Seaway. And there has been archaeological discoveries proving that in the 1300s that this copper deposit was being worked by not just the local tribes, but other, it would be Europeans now, or the great other sailors. It was that important because if you had copper, from that you can make bronze, you can make brass, you can make so many other alloys, and it came in its native form. That is what the desire was, making it basically really more valuable than gold. You know, this you could alloy and make other strong, unusual, different metals with. But gold, what? You're not going to make a gold sword or a gold, figurine, even though it might be small, even though they did some of that. Copper was the key to so many things, especially in its natural form that could be used just as they found it. And there it was, plenty of it to be found, and still is being found. Now, here's the other thing. How would you like this? Straight from Colorado, the Gilman Mining District. I used to live in Denver. Oh, yeah, loved it. That's where I first really got my gold fever, was panning on Clear Creek. And on the way up to Central City and Blackhawk. And those machines and dredging that they used at the time, there was so much gold and it was so plentiful. Their methods of recovery was primitive. They didn't recover a fraction of the gold that was actually there. So if you go back and I was there. There was a guy working the creek, and I walked up to him. I was like 20 years old. First went to Denver, and I said, "Hey, you having any luck?" And what he actually was doing, he was set up. He had his car. He had gold pans, and he was selling to the tourists along there. And I sat there, and he said, "Take this pan, and anywhere you want along this bank of tailings," he goes, "just, take a pan full of dirt." And I did. So there wasn't any setup there or anything. And he showed me how to pan it down, and which was really the first time it had ever been officially, instructed to me on how to do it. And this was by a real miner. And in no time at all, we were at the bottom of that pan, and there was color. There was multiple colors. They were bigger still than any colors I have found here in Georgia. And this was in the tailings. This was in what was left over from the going through the creek with much bigger equipment. And that's how big the nuggets really were. That's what the original miners were dealing with. This stuff that was like amazingly big enough, and made me thrilled, was stuff that they didn't even bother trying to set the sluices to recover that size material. And I'm thinking, wow, there was that much gold here at one time. So they're still doing it to this day, going through those tailings. And, that's all they're allowed to do is to pan along the creek there. They don't let you go in with the dredge or anything. But boy, wouldn't that be nice. So anyway, in Colorado, there is still lots of ore material. And normally what you look for to start with was pyrite. And here is a classic portion of what would have been a dodecahedron piece of pyrite. Now, pyrite, remember, forms in an isometric crystal system. That means equal-sided. So you have seen pyrite as a square, as a cube, right? Well, they're within that same system. If it gets complicated, crystallography is one of the most difficult sciences actually that there is. But if you look at the A, B, and C axis in the crystal, will tell you a lot more. It will also tell you that it can form then, as you know, in like spinel, in dipyramidal or bipyramidal. Looks like a pyramid-based base, also called an octahedron. To better let you realize, that garnet can form in an isometric crystal system as well, and one of the crystals that comes out of that form is a dodecahedron. So you can see that this is a partial dodecahedron. Let me show you this. Look at this. Now that is a dodecahedron of a garnet crystal. We're going to talk about this in a little bit, because I'm going to show you something that you're going to be quite amazed if you had bought one of these from me in the past, because I had like a dozen of them and I sold them. I was down to like this one, but I have something to show you after a bit. A little educational moment we're going to have. All right, so only $15. Gilman Mining Center. That's what it was about. It wasn't about mining for pyrite. Pyrite was a byproduct of the gold that they were chasing after. This actually has some neat little druzy on it as well, and could probably tell an incredible story if it could talk. So anyway, there are 3 neat pieces of ore made in the USA. That's kind of a neat collection right there. Okay, now, next, let me show you. I have, and all these are really going to be really cool, different specimens, and this next one certainly is as well. Item 1136523, and this is a jewel, just a real jewel for a specimen. And wow. Okay, the first thing that is really catches my eye and stands out is, of course, the cube, the pyrite. I mean, the pyrite. I'm thinking cubes because of the same crystal system. And the fluorite cube. And look at that. How the clear white color to it. That is the purest form of it when it does not have color. So it's just a simple formula of a calcium fluoride, CaF2, and without any other impurities, it is a rare clear white color that you see. Now, what it does do that you're not seeing is it fluoresces an incredible purple. Fluorite, the name fluorescence comes from fluorite itself, because almost all fluorite will fluoresce to some degree or another, but not all. And when you have a clear white like that and have it in a fluorescent collection and then it go to an incredible purple, that is a really beautiful look and effect. Now, this piece is special in a lot of ways. You can see, look at this crystalline form that was here, and then look at the etching. We're talking about albite feldspar. So, great job there, Latif. All right, look at the etching and the incredible patterns of feldspar that it has left behind. So what came through was some kind of liquid material that we're not exactly quite sure what this was, but it most likely dissolved it away, leaving this framework here, or the crystal popped out along the way. And the hydrothermal solution etched away the feldspar here. Look at this. It gets even prettier. This is a beautiful, looks like a cave, a leftover pattern from the hydrothermal solution coming through here and eating away basically the material, but leaving some. And then what happens is you get a secondary growth that can come back in and grow on top of the etched material or in place of. And that's why you can see second different colors of layering. This piece is one that you can look back into and have so much fun with, because look at this, look at all these little lugs, and within them there is other crystals that grew, and the etching itself is beautiful. Now let me show you. Over here you have a area that, look at these. Look back into this lug. Now, I believe these to be pyrite, possible pyrite, giving that iron oxide color to some of the material. It's either a pyrite or a chalcopyrite, I'm thinking. But back in here, Latif, how far can we go? There is only one way I found out, and that was through using a black light. Right back in there, I'll show you the edge of it, right there at the end of my tweezer, and right back in here, you can see it best using an ultraviolet light, of course, are fluorite crystals. You can see the edge of one of them back there. Yep, there are hidden fluorite crystals back in there. And that was I didn't even know it. I had been looking at it for quite some time before I discovered those. Quite the find. As you look around on this piece, look at the muscovite mica blades down here. But that's not the end of it. Look at that. Is that the one I'm looking for? Yep, that's one of them. That's one of them. And if you keep looking, yeah, that is definitely one. There are several goshenite crystals, I kid you not, which is clear beryl. Now, beryl is found with exactly these other minerals as a pegmatite formation, and that makes it really exciting to know. And oh, look down here. Here's another clear crystal, and another one. There is, let me see. I'm trying to get myself oriented with this piece. You can see the other large, whatever probably dissolved away and etched away this, probably easily ate away this sulfide metallic material, if it was pyrite or chalcopyrite. I'm not sure, but that's a lot of fun for you to figure out. There is quartz crystals, I believe. There's albite. There is goshenite, there is muscovite, there is fluorite, and I'm saying this because it all didn't fit on the label. And there is possibly oxidized pyrite, I believe that to be, or some type of iron oxide. And I wouldn't doubt if you didn't find a couple more treasures. Look at these other different crystals that you don't see until you get the angle right on them. Look at this little bed of crystals. This is a specimen that has so much geology going on with it that it can be looked at for a long, long time. It self-displays quite well, or you can put it on a stand But boy, I tell you what, to showcase a specimen like this with that bug showing like that and the fluorite off to one side, that just gives it a lot of aesthetic beauty, like something you'd see on the cover of a magazine. Put this in a fluorescent environment and watch that fluorite glow purple. I did, and I loved it. Okay, this piece, it'd normally be big bucks. It's rare, it's unusual, it has a lot of different things going on with it, and I am offering it only, again, this is where you can get something really cool for a really affordable opportunity, and $88. Only $88 on that one, and you know what? I didn't even tell you all the exciting things about it. I am leaving some other things up to you to discover. There is really neat things going back on in those pockets and those open bugs that have been etched out. So I'll leave it to you to enjoy it that Goshen night. Really, when I spotted those and then started seeing that there was more than one, it's like, wow, okay, I'm not even going to count or look. I'm going to let someone else enjoy finding those, because the way they were clear, I didn't see them at first. So they then stood out, and it's like, wow, that really makes the specimen. And it sure did. So excellent value on that one, without a doubt. So we go from made in America to made in Pakistan, and wait till you see what oh man, this was the nicest one we have of item number 113 6823, and Latif, we may shoot through my little thing here, but we'll see how close we can get, because I have a really, really rare specimen, and you might be familiar with seeing some of this, but never that large of a crystal cluster, or however way you want to call this. It is an amazing specimen of conocalcite. This is world class. If you go and you look at Mindat, there is nothing else like it, and that's kind of where you go if you're going to do some comparisons, because the people that actually put those specimens up, they're mineral dealers. You can look, you can follow them, and then you can go to their website. You can actually look up some of those specimens and what they're asking them for sale. And, you don't want me doing that, because I did that on a couple of them. I said, all I'm doing is ruining what my normal market is, because I started realizing just how expensive the specimens I was offering. And Latif is here on camera today. He's been telling me that. This is Latif. This is, of course, I have Latif and I have Asif here. Two guys that between the two of they have over 35, 40 years experience here at Gem Shopping. It's insane how much inventory they have seen. Not just of fine jewelry. No, there's been a rock and mineral show here pretty much the entire history of the 6 years that Gem Shopping's been here. There's been always a vestige. One of the original dealers I came in and hosted for had a large collection of these items, and then I came in with a gigantic collection and still am. And so these guys have gotten to see a lot of mineral specimens even besides jewelry. And Latif has told me so many times, he goes, man, that's just too cheap. Man, that's just too cheap. And he's jokingly even put a higher price on items. I said, no. Well, he was probably right all along, and I probably wouldn't be so broke if I'd have gone with what he said. These items are items that I've been in my collection, and you just can't find often things. So, if you go to Mindat and try to do any comparisons, you're gonna just, you're gonna be amazed. If you can even find them like this, conic calcite, you're not gonna be able to. Okay, here, relative to the size of my finger. All right, look at this beautiful color. Beautiful color. Now, conic calcite is basically, by its nature, it's a Greek word, and it means basically copper powder, and it's due to the way that it was smelted. It's a calcium copper arsenate, and that is only one of the few minerals that was mined at this mine. It was most active during World War II when the government needed all kinds of different products that these mines in the West could be mined for. And then after, when the war ended, these marginal mines mostly all closed up. So this particular mine, actually closed in 1945. And then was only open for a little bit to collectors. And this is some of the finest conic calcite. And now, conic calcite is mostly viewed under magnification. So some of the finest specimens you see pictures of, it's like a 4 millimeter area, because it forms these little tiny botryoidal formations. Now, let me show you, if we can go in as close as we can, because you're going to see. Oh, great job! All right, look at these little, almost like little tendrils. Now, I'm going to put this magnifier over it and see if we can't look a little deeper, because it's important to see this for a moment. There we go. All right. Now, you see what looks like, well, it'd be almost like coral polyps if you were looking at it almost looks like a reef. And this is how a lot of it forms. Now, let me show you. Great camera work there. All right. Look as we drop down on this large crystal, what appears to be a large crystal. There we go. All right. Now, right there to the right, keep that in mind, that white crystal. And then as we keep coming down, look at those tall stalks. Okay. Conic calcite normally doesn't form like that. And as we come down here to the bottom, you can see where that. All right, look at those stalks, and then right here, look at that beautiful crystal with the conic calcite on it. These are the kind of pictures you see in Mindat. They make it look like something really big, but you have to look at the field of view that they put, and then you realize, wow, they're just looking at a little tiny small area of it. Correct. Now, as we come up here, you're doing great. Here where it changes, you have crystals with the conic calcite of them. Those crystals are quartz. Those crystals are quartz. Yet right here, that is gypsum. I could say selenite because it is the quality of selenite. So we can use selenite or gypsum, either one. And as we come down here, you're going to see that is gypsum. You come over here and you have gypsum covering quartz. And where that difference lies is this line right along here. So that whiter area is the gypsum overrunning the quartz. Now, there's one more place over here I want to show you. You look at these two colors. You have a bluish color and a green color. You can see what we're actually looking at is not a 10 power. This is 30 power magnification plus the magnification of the camera. So we're looking into that pretty pretty deeply. And then as we come down, you can see those other beautiful colors, but they are distinctly two different colors. In the mineral world, that means something. That means it's not the same mineral. And in this case, it could be chrysocolla. And wouldn't that be neat? Chrysocolla is found to be in that area, and chrysocolla is very closely related to it. Now, let me go back and talk to you about these crystals. These are not completely cornicalcite. They are cornicalcite, the best I can figure out, as a pseudomorph. You know what a pseudomorph is? It's where one mineral replaces another, and it's usually a mineral that dissolves at a lower temperature. Well, we already know right here we have gypsum. Picture gypsum or selenite crystals in your head, the ones you've seen. The fishtail selenites, they come to a point. My best, not guess, but my best answer to what exactly this is it is a cornicalcite pseudomorph after gypsum. I think these were gypsum crystals that the cornicalcite replaced. That's the closest thing I can think they are. Now, here's another item. When we get to these small ones that look like they have a botryoidal type of growth on them, well, there is every possibility as we look at these. You can see that kind of botryoidal formation as you look at those as well. These could very well be, and just make a note so you can study it, cornicalcite, not replacing it, but growing over another mineral called olivenite. Basically, olive and then Nite. So, olivenite. It is a copper arsenate. It just doesn't have the calcium like cornicalcite, so it's very closely related. Actually, the entire end member is related. And the only thing different is the lack of the calcium being there. So it could absolutely be easily cornicalcite over that mineral. So that would be something for you to look into. So we have, that is the really showy piece. We have quartz and gypsum. We have it mixed other minerals back here, but we're not done. We have another side over here, and we'll just give you one more quick look right into that area, and it is quite impressive as well when it comes to look at that. Look at that. Those little sprays, which is classic for the size of cornicalcite. Look at back in there. Look at those quartz crystals. You get a light later, and you can just take a deep dive right into those places. Look at that. See the bubbly formation? Look at the color. That is stunning. That's the kind of stuff that you see pictures of exactly like that. And this specimen, look at back in there. And look at the other color material. Wow. There is hours of fun, I know, because I got lost spending hours on it myself. So I'm not going to include this stand. I'll let you find another one. But, wow, that is something that you could go to 100 different gem and mineral shows and never see anything like what you're seeing right there. And this one-of-a-kind piece made in Utah is only $118. $118. And again, just go to Mindat and it won't have the price right there, but all you have to do is judge it by looking at the picture compared to others and see if there is anything as impressive as this spray of minerals right there, and the look that it has, along with the blue here, the combination of the gypsum, aka selenite, on top of the quartz. When you look at that closer, there is, and I know exactly, it comes from nowhere else, the Gold Hill Mine in Utah. It's such a distinct specimen, it just screams that locality. Okay, give me a minute, let me put up these nice, valuable pieces, and I'll be right back. One of the rarest minerals I am ever going to show you, you're getting to see right now. And I just tried again with Latif to try to bring you and show you fluorescence, which of course is almost impossible to do. And it didn't work again either, because what I wanted to show you was, and to prove to you, one of the ways to determine what this is over the other things it could be is the fluorescence. And it is an amazing orange fluorescence. This crystal, orange fluorescence. Orange fluorescence. Now, here's what's amazing and tells you everything. See all this blue? See all this blue? No fluorescence. No fluorescence. Now, I'm going to tell you, and the information I'm going to tell you, if you get this specimen, you need to write it down and listen to what I say. Because here is how you tell that you have a real afghanite specimen over lazurite or over aween. Now, to go back to aween, there's a couple ways to pronounce aween, just so you don't get the minerals confused. If you listen to one mineral dealer like Mindat, they go Howen. Another one goes aween. So either Howen or aween, if you hear it either way, just know that's the mineral we're talking about. Aween, named after a very famous gemologist who named and discovered many other mineral specimens. Now, here's the thing. Lazurite, the mineral associated with lapis lazuli, right? Okay, real lazurite must, now follow me because it's important, must be sulfide dominant. A sulfide is where two sulfur atoms come together. Sulfide dominant, and none has ever been found. So all lazurite is technically aween or Howen, however way you want to pronounce that, meaning that chemically what happens is as the sulfide replaces the sulfate, in other words, the sulfide is two sulfur atoms, to keep it simple. As it replaces it and becomes a sulfate is sulfur and oxygen together. 4 oxygen atoms for a sulfate. Sulfite is 3 oxygen atoms, but we'll just think of sulfate. As sulfide replaces sulfate, it loses its fluorescence and becomes opaque and is the classic lazurite, as in the lapis lazuli, that you are used to. But to be real lazurite, it must be sulfide dominant. And technically, there hasn't been any. They haven't found any. So basically, all the lazurite that you're known to seeing is technically aween. But here's how you know. This fluoresces a gorgeous orange. Here's the pyrite. This blue, this is your lazurite that is known as the blue that is in lapis lazuli, and it does not fluoresce, and it is opaque. These crystals are isometric. You can see, the isometric crystals belong to the Alwine family, and they form a dodecahedron pattern, and that's why I brought in that garnet crystal, this dodecahedron. Here is this crystal, and you can see the formation of this crystal. These are the formation that belongs to the Afghanite family, which is triclinic, extremely rare. And let me show you. So here's the triclinic, here's the Afghanite formula right here. Look at how long, 96 oxygen. You know, we never see a number that high. Here is your sulfate, your SO4 right there. Sodium and calcite. It belongs to the cancrinite group, which is part of the feldspathoid group. Now, there's your difference between your sulfate, SO4, your sulfide, like as in pyrite is a sulfide. It's FeS2, 2 atoms of sulfur. That's a sulfide. Your sulfite is 3 of oxygen. So we're looking between the SO4. As it becomes a sulfate, it loses its fluorescence. Here is the formula for Alwine. So you can see it's different. And to be the classic lazurite, it actually makes a chemical change. Now, here is the big difference. When you look at this crystal, you can see that it comes to a point. It is actually the shape of what would be a triclinic crystal. The difference between that and the Howin or Alwine is isometric, and that is like that big garnet crystal I showed you that forms a dodecahedron like this shape. Nothing like this. This is fluorescent also. It is a gorgeous orange fluorescence. This is almost all fluorescent, except there's a portion through the middle that isn't, which is making that transformation to a sulfate, which I think is really cool to see the difference when you have it under fluorescent light. Now, let me show you. Also, it becomes more opaque. Look at that crystal. That crystal is not opaque. Look at the blue in that. And there we go. Thank you, sir. Look at how much that transmits the blue through it. So it's a very transparent to translucent crystal. Thank you, sir. Yet this one, if you look at it, you can see edges of it are the blue, but in the middle it goes opaque, the same area that is not fluorescent. So that is basically making the change. But you can see the triclinic shape to that crystal, and when you see that, then you know, and it fluoresces, it is without a doubt not Howin or Alwine. It is for certain Afghanite. And by that determination, it makes this specimen extremely rare. Very rare. Look at the beautiful pyrites that are in it. Then look what we have down here. Look at these crystals. Besides those beautiful crystals right there. Look at these green crystals. You know what we have there? This is a really awesome find. Besides the pyrite and the calcite, how close can we go on those? Let me pull this out and show everybody this, because this was a awesome find when I noticed. Look at those. Look at those crystals. Sorry about that. That's my fault. That's my fault. There we go. Okay, look at those. Now, look. There we go. Perfect. Look at those right there. They are wonderfully shaped. A beautiful color to them. Look at that. Really is a couple nice. Diopside. Diopside is what we have right here. And look at that. What a great find. And then there's another crystal right there. There is much to be explored on this specimen. Afghanite, one of the rarest minerals you can find coming out of that area. It is a real gem. Howin or Oween belongs to the sodalite group, and then into the feldspathoids. But Afghanite belongs to a totally different group altogether, the cancrinite group. I have a price on this, a fraction of it. Go try to find an Afghanite. And look at the wonderful pyrites all along this. This has been one of my favorite specimens. You see some calcite along here also. It has a tremendous fluorescence. Tremendous fluorescence. Beautiful orange colors to this. But it's amazing. When you get over here, it goes away. That is your version of lazurite that is part of the lapis lazuli blue that you see, which is an opaque, non-fluorescent blue. So when you get this fluorescence and then you come over here and wonder what's going on, well, that's because it is making that change that where it loses its fluorescence and becomes opaque. And that is what is going on there. It's a sulfide, as the sulfide is replaced by a sulfate. And that's what you get. That's pretty neat. As sulfide replaces the sulfate, it loses its fluorescence and becomes opaque and becomes the classic lazurite, as in lapis lazuli, that we are used to seeing. Price on this, I don't even know. $288. I know $288 would be a phenomenal opportunity because it's one of those that you're just not going to have another opportunity to get. Look it up. Learn about it. It's a very, very rare opportunity. I'm going to show you. I think at one time maybe it was Brad that said he wanted to see some more of what I'm getting ready to show you. This is item 113-7723. 113-7723. Wow. Look at this. Look at this. Mirror apophyllite. I'll just hand hold it for a minute because I am so excited about this item. Mirror apophyllite. Look at the green gyrolites. Green gyrolites. It's all on a bed of prehnite. Yes, look at all this. Look at all this material. And as we go in close, let's go in like, let's say, right here. See these wonderful. Let me get a pointer. All right. Look at this. These are the prehnites. Prehnites. Look at all these mirror apopholites. Then look at all the green gyrolites. Normally you see the white gyrolites. And then something else. You see these white crystals in between? You have seen these before in those other zeolites. With the scolicites, you know what that is? You should know that. Oh wow! Look at the two colors. Look at those two colors. That is. Look at how you have the gyrolites, or the I guess it would be the apopholites growing over onto the gyrolites. Look at that one. This, by the way, lomentite, before I forget. The white crystals are lomentite. Another zeolite. Look at these formations. Look at this one. How it just is sitting on top of the oakenite. Look at these others. You don't know whether the oakenite grew around the gyrolite. Look at that. Or vice versa. Look at this one. The two colors like that. And then, see all these others. This is the prenites. The beautiful, I guess almost a light green. All those are prenites. And if you probably look really close, there may be scolicites. Oh, there is an oakenite. That's right. I think I have it. I didn't have room. There is a little oakenite. I'm going to leave it up to you, but to find. But it has some of the fibrous crystals like you find in oakenite. And I wouldn't doubt if there wasn't more to discover. Look at these. How I love it. The way these apopholites grow over or within one another. And along with the prenites. Look at that. Look at that. What a plate. This is a cabinet quality. The color green really enhances its rarity and unusualness with the prenites. The mirror, you can see the mirror reflection of the apopholites. Oh, there's one more thing right in here. This is what I want to show. Can you go right in here? Look at this is what I discovered. These white crystals. And they were growing within the apopholite. And I think they're lomentite. I haven't come across the oakenite yet, but it's in here somewhere. I'm going to leave it up to one of you to discover. My clock is running out on me. I'm going to set that right in there for just a moment. This can be displayed in many beautiful different directions. It is a real rarity for the color and the prenite and the combination of everything. Look at that. And here's my hand. Look at that. What a beautiful, nice specimen. And I have a opportunity on a zeolite like that, a discounted opportunity of only, why not? Let's do it for only $328. $328 on that one. And let me get to one more real quick here. I have item number 1136923. 1136923. Take a look at this. Here is a specimen from Morocco, and what it shows on one side, as we go in close, look at this. All right. You have an iron oxide here. Great work there, Latif. You have a mix. Look at the pyrites on top of the quartz. Look at how beautiful that is. A Druzy's pyrite on top of quartz. You have additional mineralization here. Oh, look at the calcites. Looks like, yep, those are calcites. Look at all those calcites. This is pyrite mixed in. Here's what I love. Besides all this, flip it over. Boom! Look at that fluorite. You put this under fluorescent light, and this glows purple from one end to the other. You take a cut of a saw cut right along here, and you end up with, you can see I did it once, a slice of an incredible, you can see the crystals of fluorite, how they grew. You take a slice of this, and it looks beautifully translucent through it. You display it like this in a fluorescent display, and bam, that's just all purple. That is magnificent all the way around, and I have a crazy price on this for you to take advantage of, because how would you like that guy for, here we go. Only, why not, $68. $68. I don't know which way I want it displayed better, that way or the other way. It is just a really showy piece. Okay, I think, let me see, I thought I had one more item I thought I saw, but if not a problem, we'll catch up with it next week for certain. But it was something you all would want. Here it is. Okay, last item on the show. It is item 113-7123. 113-7123. And this is something we discussed, and I'm going to show you in person. Now, in the upstairs shows, the main shows, something like this isn't sellable unless it's, in perfect condition or shape. But down here, since we have cutters in this show, it is something I can offer. Look at this. I am going to show you one of the most stunning spessartine garnets, the red-orange ones. Look at this gem. And let me wipe it off, because here is a stone that, for you recutters, or if you just want it because it's got a little nick on it, look at that color. Look at that color. And this color spessartine is this got a little nick on the edge, so it would be a very easy job for a cutter to fix. Or if you wanted, instead of making a checkerboard cut, just fasten it as a brilliant circle. And it's going to be a big discount. Let me show you. Use the old magnet. Boom. What did I tell you? What did I tell you about spessartine garnets? Because of the manganese. Manganese is magnetic. You need to learn and know that and use it as a tool. All right. This stone, as the last item of the show, I'm going to sale price it because of that little nick at probably a tenth of the price. Make it $28. I kid you not. $28. That's a 3.12 carat. But it's because it's got the nick, and, I'm selling it as a specimen. All right, lots more to do, but there's always a show coming up, like in 2 days. So, I'll be right back with the trivia. Wow. That was a fun show. I hope it was for you. When I get to discuss and talk about some of the pieces I featured today, was it the sapphire I got so excited about? I don't know. Was it the green gyrolites, with the base of prehnite? Or was it the Afghanite specimen? Okay. I have to say one more thing about the Afghanite specimen as I was recalling my purchase of it. It was not your usual price. It was out of my usual range of pricing. And so, knowing some about the Afghanite and knowing how closely it was related to other minerals made me question him as to its authenticity as being Afghanite. And I'd never actually been told this. We had been talking for a while, and he knew that I was wise enough and knowledgeable enough to ask the right questions, or enough of the questions in the area and the zone that he could probably comfortably say what he did to me. And I said to him, how do I know I'm getting and paying for what I'm getting here? He goes, and they're always, the dealers are always very polite. And he goes, my good sir, and I'm not going to try to do an Indian accent. My good sir. He goes, when you study, when you learn, and you learn enough, you will know that I am telling you the truth about this specimen. And with that, I got to thinking, it's like, that's a good answer. How else? He would never be able to convince me or prove to me, at that moment, exactly what it was. But his answer was all the answer I really needed. Because it was on my part for me to learn enough to understand what he was trying to explain to me as to what made it what it was. And in the end, it was simple. Due to crystal system and fluorescence, there were ways to define it gemologically so that it could fit in no other category but to be Afghanite. And the crystal system being completely different from the others around it, and the fact that it fluoresced, all the things fell into place. And so, I've known for a long time that he was correct. And it is truly an amazing fluorescent specimen, and truly one of the great rarities coming from that area. And it's a specimen that, due to the way the crystal shape is defined well enough, and the fluorescence is obvious, that it is easy to categorize it and define it and prove it for what it to be. Now, that leads me to one of the questions I have for you. Ready? Afghanite is closely related to two different other minerals that we discussed. What are those two other minerals that it can be confused with or is closely related to? The second question. A stone cut by local cutters that are, local to the source of the gem, often poorly cut. A stone. What is the name of the type cut given to a stone cut locally? So, there's a broad name we discussed, and that's used in the trade. If you use this term, it means one specific thing. So, to rephrase that, a stone cut by local cutters and often poorly cut is called what type of cut? So there's another little of the same question reworded in a different way. All right. For me, I get to come back and, today is a Monday, so I get to come back Thursday, and I'm going to have a lot of other fun things to show you. You're going to get to see another show only on Monday, so you're seeing this show on a Tuesday. Thanks again for your patience a day late. I think, though, it does, in a way, keep it a little bit mixed up. Not that we're going to target for it to be that way, but it does allow, I think, another set of people to be able to maybe access the show at that particular time when they couldn't other times, and maybe spreads the chances of getting these great items amongst you. So it also gave some of you a day extra to be able to be ready to get those amazing pieces that you would have wanted. Brad, like that incredible Christmas tree chalcedony piece. I wish I had several of them. And I do realize that, and I knew it at the time, that I sold it way below the market. Again, he put that thing in for us and said, it's just amazing. Anyway, I've never seen another one. So, hey, it's gone. I could have sold it 3 times. Whoever bought that one hasn't come out and said who got it, but that is where you bought a quarter for a nickel. And well done. There's lots of other deals I showed you. Same kind of value. That sapphire. So, have fun with the items. And I will look forward to, and I can't wait, the fall, great time of year. And I won't be doing any mowing or outside chores as much as I want to. But what I do want to do is make sure I'm healthy to come back here and bring you another wonderful show. Thanks to the crew that had to come in and do this, especially today. Asif, of course, being the main one behind that. And I'm truly, truly grateful for that. God bless all of you, including Asif and the team. And I'll see you next Monday.